Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature You Adore, and I'm here at the summit of Monte Tamaro with my traditional flag from the high school where I taught and coached for 30 years. I'm at this summit in Ticino, Switzerland, and I wanted to share this amazing hike with you. One of the most beautiful hikes in the world. This hike ranks in the top 5 of the most fantastic hikes I've ever done in my lifetime. I am in the Italian-speaking Ticino, Switzerland, part of the Lake District of northern Italy and southern Switzerland. This is where my mother was born. This is where my roots and my heritage come from. I do want to interject here how fabulous hiking in Switzerland is. You can go to any town or village and you will find a sign like this that shows you where all the trails are, how long it takes to get to different points. There are trails everywhere. They begin in every single town. Some of these trails have been here for thousands of years, so they supersede any kind of ownership, and you're free to explore throughout Switzerland. So kick back, stay tuned, and come with me on this amazing hike from Monte Tamaro to Monte Lema, one of the most beautiful hikes in all the world.
Right here in your backyard. You never know what you're going to find.
So this hike begins with a gondola cable car ride from Rivera Branco train station up to a location called Alpe Folpa. Alpe Folpa is a destination in itself, especially for families. There's a church there designed by a local architect, this lake, a restaurant, summer toboggan or bobsled runs, and a zip line that reaches terrifying heights. From here, I'll hike almost 3,000 feet of elevation gain to the summit of Monte Tamaro. At almost 2,000 meters, close to 6,500 feet in elevation, this is the most prominent summit in the Swiss Pre-Alps. From the summit of Tamaro to the summit of Lema, I will cross at least 5 other peaks as I'm walking along the border between Switzerland and Italy with views of Lombardy and Piedmont in Italy and Ticino and Valais in Switzerland. You will see why the Tamaro to Monte Lema hike has the deserved reputation as one of the finest, most renowned hikes in all of the Swiss Pre-Alps. The path or trail from Alpe Folpa starts out as pretty much a road that climbs steeply and zigzags up the side of the mountain. Even here on this early start of the trail, it doesn't fail to deliver just spectacular views of the Swiss Alps there in the background. This hike to Monte Lema will be about 14 kilometers or 8 to 9 miles with 3,000 feet of elevation gain. Most of this elevation gain will be made right here, going from Alpe Folpa to the summit of Tamaro. This was a fun little feature on the trail that I speeded up double time through the magic of video. Here now, I'm up on the high ridge. I passed the cell tower, leaving that in the background. And as always, there are so many trails, there's so many great places to hike. You can see on this sign, there's so many different places to go.
Here's another reason to love hiking in Switzerland. Here I am, high up on a mountain ridge, alpine tundra, surrounded by a panorama of mountains. I can see the villages way, way below me. And here is a restaurant. It's called La Campana Tamaro. This is typical of high mountains. It has rustic sleeping accommodations. And you can hike across Switzerland for days and days and not bring a backpack, a stove, food, a sleeping bag, or a tent. And you can just stay in these amazing cabanas or huts at elevation. Fantastic. Buongiorno, come va? Sono il primo stamattina? Ah, non ho vinto ancora, ho perso ancora. Yeah.
So here you can stop and rest or even spend the night, have lunch or dinner or breakfast or a snack, all nostrano, all typical Ticino cheeses and dried meats and specialties of the area. Me, I love stopping here to get a cappuccino on the way on my hike. Leaving the mountain hut behind, the trail takes on a decidedly alpine nature. It becomes narrower, rockier, steeper, and requires the all-important head for heights. The video makes this trail seem decidedly not as steep as it was in real life. I assure you, this was a very steep and exposed part of the trail. And this is one of my favorite parts of hiking in the mountains. When you get up on these high ridges, you're right on the edge of the ridge, you got exposure and views on both sides. And sometimes when I make these hikes, I'm not alone. And today I'm accompanied by this group of mountain goats. And so finally reaching the 6,000 foot of Monte Tamaro and having taken up most of my elevation for the day, I do my obligatory Radford High School Bobcat flag. And here is a spectacular panorama at the summit of Monte Tamaro, 360 degrees, the most prominent point in the Swiss Pre-Alps. So I continue down the trail from Monte Tamaro, tiptoeing along the Swiss and Italian border on this magnificent ridgeline trail. The views are just spectacular. It seems with every few hundred meters, the scenery changes, the elevation changes, and you get new views and perspective. I'm still pretty far out, still about 2.5 hours back to the end point of today's hike, but the views again just continue to deliver. The scenery just keeps changing. I just can't think of a more beautiful hike than this one, always following this ridge, always changing scenery. It's really, really just absolutely spectacular. And again, I'm soon joined by a group of mountain goats. Love hearing those bells. I'm actually about dehydrated here myself. I brought 2 liters of water, but there's no water on the trail. Between the lack of cover, the relentless sun, and the dry air and wind, I did wish I had brought more water with me. I was definitely glad to arrive at the Monte Lema gondola site that would take me back down the mountain at the end of this fantastic day. I'll conclude this episode with a rough translation of this plaque that was on one of the mountain peaks that I crossed. So from Italian to English, what this says is the intensity of your life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but in those times and moments and places which have left you breathless. Thanks for watching this special On the Road with Nature at Your Door episode here from Ticino, Switzerland. If you like what I do on this channel, please give me a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I love hearing from my viewers.
And remember, I cover all things nature, from frogs, toads, snakes, and turtles, to myriapoda, insects, trees, wildflowers, and fungi. I cover all the things you might encounter just outside your door. Thanks again for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door.